This is exciting new research. Stargates and warp drives. New documents shed light on secret U.S. UFO research project. This is by Sputnik News, today, January 18th. Stargates and warp drives. Well, we're talking about perhaps something that we used to see in Star Trek. Newly released documents from the U.S. Defense Intelligence Agency, DIA, reveal more detail about the secretive Advanced Aerospace Threat and Identification Program, ATIP, through which the U.S. researched what many might consider to be fringe science like stargates, warp drives, and extra dimensions. Details of the program, which officially ran from 2007 to 2012, thanks to $22 million in annual funding from the defense budget, were obtained and shared on Wednesday by Nick Pope. He's a British researcher who previously investigated reports of UFO sightings for the UK's Ministry of Defence. He says the congressional letter obtained includes a list of 38 products that the AATIP investigated for the DIA. The purpose of the AATIP was to investigate foreign advanced aerospace weapon threats from present out to the next 40 years. In other words, they're considering what's going to happen 4 decades from now. And there's a copy here of that letter, the ATIP letter to DIA. I'm not going to read it for you, but if you want, it's embedded here in this thing. It's not unclassified anymore, so we can read it. The final 3 pages of the letter discuss and disclose various projects on the topics of invisibility cloaking, transversible wormholes, stargates, and negative energy, fields' effects on biological tissue, warp drives, dark energy, and the manipulation of extra dimensions, among others. However, other than listing the project titles and associate officials, the documents fail to give further insight on the results of those investigations. This is what Pope told Sputnik. He says, what better way to hide a UFO program than by embedding it in an aerospace program, looking at the unknowns in parallel with the more conventional threats posed by the next generation of aircraft, missiles, and drones, end quote. Quote, while this was another intriguing piece of the puzzle, it still does not give us a definite answer to the question of whether ATIP was a program looking at a next-generation aerospace threat, or whether, as has been claimed, foreign advanced aerospace weapons threats is coded language for UFOs. And he wrote and explained, perhaps the truth lies somewhere in between. While UFO skeptics and believers alike will continue to debate the existence of UFOs, Pope stressed that actual serious search should continue. Quote, some people might call it fringe science, but I regard it as low probability, high impact work where the immense potential payoffs more than justify the initial expense, end quote. In December 2017, a New York Times profile on the ATIP revealed that the program was still investigating UFO sightings despite it having been officially shuttered in 2012, sources familiar with the program told the outlet. In a statement to the Times, Pentagon officials explained that the program was indeed closed after senior officials, quote, determined that there were other higher priority issues than merited funding, and it was the best interest of DoD to make the change. The ATIP was initiated in 2007 by Harry Reid, who at the time was a Senate Majority Leader. A letter obtained in 2018 by journalist George Knapp shows that in 2009, Reid warned then Deputy Secretary of Defense William Lind III of the presence of, quote, far-term foreign aerospace threats, end quote, that have the potential to cause catastrophic effects. Without specifically mentioning UFOs, Reid further explained to Lynn that the work of ATIP, quote, would not only benefit the U.S. government, but I believe will directly benefit the Department of Defense in ways not imagined, end quote. The ATIP first made headlines in 2017 after it released video footage showing a 2004 encounter between two U.S. Navy F/A-18 Super Hornets and, of course, an unknown object. In the recording, the fighter pilots attempted to intercept the unidentified object, described as having, quote, no obvious wings or tail, end quote, but are ultimately unsuccessful. It's still unclear what exactly the pilots encountered during their flight. If you'd like to join me on my Patreon account, you will hear content not covered by mainstream media. These riveting stories will be based on my research, and I will state my opinions and give my personal insight on diverse and controversial subjects and world events not covered by mainstream media, and not supported by YouTube guidelines. So whatever I have on my Patreon, most of those will not be on my YouTube channel. Please consider becoming a member today. More of the most significant and important videos will be on my Patreon channel. Your support helps me to continue my research and keeps this YouTube channel alive. And we depend on your support, your generous charity, because we help economically challenged families here in Athens, Greece, in Kapota, and we also help the young generation with university tuition and the community around our church. Thank you.